coming with your champ of the world. Shout out to TD Sports. TD coming with your champ of the world. Shout out to TD Sports. TD Sports. Let's go, champ.
Shout out to TD Sports, man. B. Norman Jr., man. See you taking pictures out there and with that New York doing big things, man. Keep doing your thing.
Gotcha.
TD Sports Talk in the house. Let's go.
Yeah, buddy.
Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? What is going on, man? We are live on a Tuesday evening, October the 14th, 2025. It's about 8:07 in the East Coast time here in the Bronx, New York City. And I'm live today. I wanted to talk about something that's been bothering me the last few days. We had a decent fight card this past weekend. Boxing has been kind of slow, I guess the last month or so, but we had an interesting card. Boots Ennis was on the card, and there was a decent undercard. There was some good fights on there, I'm not going to lie. And one of the fights we want to talk about today, because one of the fights I thought there was an injustice, a very injustice, and, politics, boxing again, where you give the hometown guy a victory that he doesn't really necessarily deserve. And, we're going to speak about it today. I got my co-host up with me. I don't know if he's ready. My man, D Free, are you here with me? D Free, you there?
Yes, sir.
He's on mute.
What's good with you? What's good?
Oh, my man, D Free is there. What's good? What's good? How you been, bro?
I'm good. We had an interesting card this past weekend.
Interesting is a good word. Yeah. Interest is a very good word to describe the event. I'm just going to give some time for people to kind of filter in here a little bit. I want to start this series again. This is episode number 4, I believe. Episode number 4, Ring Talk Convos. I started this a few months ago. I did the first episode, Keith Cologne. I think the second episode I did with Ishay, and I did another episode. I forgot who I did the third episode. Oh, we did the interview with Jolene from I forgot the name of the fight promotion. Forgive me. She's the manager of Brian Norman Jr. She manages fighters. So that was the third episode. So now episode 4, we do have a special guest that will arrive in later. He was covering the fight in Philadelphia. We're going to bring in my guy, Johnny Boy Boxing. He was in Philadelphia for the event. He also watched the fight, but we're going to focus on this fight. And the fight we're referring to is it was not the co-main event. It was right before the co-main event. And that was Jose Roman Cheito taking on Tahmir Smalls. And this was a welterweight battle for a divisional intercontinental title, 10-round bout. And it was an entertaining bout. It was a good fight, competitive fight. I wouldn't say that, one guy was dominant over the other, but I will say that one guy I thought won more rounds convincingly, in my opinion. Now, and we're going to talk about it. And, if you see underneath Ringtone Combos, it says it's cool when they do it. And there's a reference I want to do with it. And shout out to my guy, Shah News. I kind of stole that from him, but it's a reason why I put this quote. So Johnny Boy's entering the building. He's having little problems. It says device not connected. We'll get him in it. But yeah, we want to talk about Jose Roman taking on Tahmir Smalls. Now, Tahmir Smalls got the decision, and I'm going to read the scorecards real quick. It was a unanimous decision. Steve Weisfeld scored it 96-93. That's 6 rounds. That's 6 rounds to 4, pretty much. And then there was a knockdown in this fight. Tahmir Smalls dropped Roman in the 3rd round. And Eric Marlinsky scored it 95-94. That's basically even in rounds, 5 rounds apiece. But the knockdown gives him the extra point. But then Dave Braslow, I don't know much about him. He scored it 98-91, giving Tahmir Smalls 8 rounds. Listen, you guys know that I rock with Jose Roman. I rock with his manager. Ricardo Figueroa. He got the big upset win over Jalil Hackett. He was supposed to get the rematch a few months ago. Jalil Hackett had that freak injury, which I called cap because I thought that he couldn't, it was rumors that he couldn't make weight and he was struggling. And I thought that injury was a little bit bogus. And then go figure, now he's moving up to 154. So coincidentally moved up to 154, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the fight. I watched this fight. It was a competitive fight, but I thought Roman won easy. I thought Roman won the fight. I thought he won 7 rounds. And to be generous, you could give him 6 rounds. But before I get into the fight, I want to see what D-Free, what was your take on the actual fight itself?
Yeah, I had Ramon winning that fight as well. I thought Small, they was going back and forth in the earlier rounds. And then once it got to like round 5, it seemed like Ramon was pulling away. He was landing the significant shot, the more effective shot. Now, Smalls was pressing the action, but he wasn't landing a lot of shots. He was just pressing the action. It wasn't effective aggression. It was just aggression. And what I saw was Ramon actually boxed very well in the second half of that fight. And we was calling the fight live, and me Prize and I believe it was B3. We was giving what we scored the fight. And I told Prize, I said, hey, it's looking like, it was Crush the Legend. That's who was up there. I said, it's looking like Small is going to need these last 2 rounds in order to pull even, because it looked like Ramon might be pulling away with this fight. And when we got to the 9th round, I was like, okay, that's a close round. It can go either way. I said, it looked like Small's going to need this last round. If he planning on getting a draw out of this situation, he's going to need this last round. And so, in my opinion, I thought Smalls lost the last round. But to see a judge having 98-91, I'm like, man, what fight were you watching? Because it was ridiculous. Like I said, the one judge that had it 90, 94, 95, cool. If you saw Smalls winning because of the knockdown, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it. But to say 98-91, and it was all around with the Smalls, so you didn't see none of the work that Ramon did in that fight. Obviously, you didn't see anything. You were just looking at what Smalls was doing. You wasn't looking at Ramon at all.
Yeah, I agree. Johnny Boy, what is good with you? Welcome to the panel. Welcome. We brought you here because you covered the whole event. You was there, press conference, weigh-in, and the fight night. We're gonna start off. We're talking about Jose Roman versus Tahmir Smalls. That's the big topic today because there was an injustice, in my opinion. What did you see in that fight? How did you have it? How did you have it scored? And what was your thoughts on the judges' scorecards?
Well, first, let me say what's up, D-Free, my brother, Big Thomas. That's it, man. We in here. But it was a salute, man. It was a close fight, but I felt that Roman, I felt he won it. He started to control the fight towards the later, the second half of the fight, and the scorecards was ridiculous. That scorecard was crazy.
98-91 is ridiculous. I mean, it's that's the robbery. Like, when we talk about robberies, close fights are not robberies where it could go either way, close competitive fights. And it was a close competitive fight. I just thought that 98-91, that's where they tried to take it from. Like, it was obvious that judge was there to give it to Smalls no matter what happened, right? Forget even the knockdown, right? It's just he was there to score that. And that, to me, is the robbery. It's like you kill his character. You make him look like he was a nobody, he was a bum. You make it look like Smalls watched the guy. And that totally did not happen. I thought Roman, after the knockdown, I thought he controlled the fight after the 5th round. He was hurt in the 3rd round, right? He missed an uppercut, right? And then Smalls caught him with a beautiful shot. I think it was kind of like an uppercut or a straight right. And it was right in the button, and credit to him. And, Roman was hurt. His coaches told him, stay down, wait, recover. he followed the directions. He's got up at the count of 7. He was good. He held on, as veterans do, as what you have to do when you're hurt. You hold on to live for another round. The next round, his legs was starting to get there, and then Smalls looked good in the beginning of the 4th, but I thought Roman controlled the rest of the round 4. So if you wanted to give Smalls round 4, I have no problem with that. But at the 5th, to the end of the fight, and maybe I think the 9th round was maybe the other moment that maybe Smalls had. Like he might have won the moment of round 9, and okay, fine, give it to him. But other than that, I did not think, he won any more rounds. I gave Roman 7 rounds in this fight, and I thought he dictated the pace. I thought they made the better adjustments later in the fight, where you didn't see him try to throw that uppercut the rest of the fight. So he got caught after the uppercut, and then and they told him, hey, don't do that anymore. You didn't see him do that the rest of the fight. So, they made adjustments. I thought Smalls, they didn't make any adjustment. I thought they were looking for one big punch for the rest of the fight. And that's not boxing. And, when we talk about boxing, everybody says, when let's put it this way, when the black skilled fighters are boxing, a lot of people say, oh, it's running. And that's not right, because the sport is boxing. It's hit and not get hit. And I thought Roman did that. I thought he boxed, hit, not get hit. I thought he dictated the pace, right? And, they were saying, oh, he was running. He was not running. He outboxed them and totally, in my opinion, outclassed them. Now, some of the rounds could have been a little bit close, right? But still, the rounds that were close, what told you that Smalls won the round over Roman in any of those rounds after the 5th round? That's my argument, and that's what I'm going for. And, again, with the scorecards, you make the guy look like he's nothing. And this is a guy that just got a big win against Jaleel Hackett, right? And he was supposed to get a rematch, right? And then whatever happened, right? I spoke a few times, right? So now he's out of action. Now he's got to wait for the next fight. So Matchroom sets him up with, Boots' guy, right? The hometown guy, and the hometown guy gets a victory. And in my opinion, you didn't earn that victory. That's where I'm at right now. And I think they should give this guy a rematch, and I think they should do it again, and maybe do it in a neutral site this time. If you want to build up a prospect, make him a contender, make him earn it. Now let's see what you can do, in a neutral site. This guy got a lot of knockouts, right? But his last few fights, he's getting up in competition. The knockouts are not there. Now, obviously, he has one punch knockout power, or one punch, because he dropped them with one punch, right? It's there, but boxing is not about one big shot. You gotta create your shots, and you gotta hit and not get hit. And I don't think Smalls did any of that, especially in the 2nd round.
Absolutely, I think Smalls' team is gonna stay clear of Roman. I don't think they're gonna go into a rematch with that, because that'll be that'll be crazy, because it was too close. And even if you look at Smalls, you can see the look on his face. He didn't even feel like he won.
Yeah,
that hometown was with him. That whole advantage.
He was not confident at all. That's a very good point. I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you said it. I don't know, D3, if you noticed that as well.
What's up?
That Smalls, he wasn't even convinced that he got the win before the
the team was telling him, and even Prize and Crush was up here, and they know the guy or whatever, because I believe that's either Jerron Boots and his cousin or his nephew. I'm not sure exactly which one it is.
All right, I didn't know they were related.
I know it's his family, but I wasn't sure if it was his nephew or his cousin, because Crush told me. But even Prize said, he was like, hey, Smalls lost this one, but he's a home kid. They're gonna give it to him. Ramon didn't do enough to win the fight. They're gonna give it to him. But in my opinion, I think Smalls lost this fight. And Crush said the same thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We got to call it for what it is, and this is why boxing is in the shape that it is because it's fine. You want to build your guy up, and obviously I don't know if he signed with Matchroom, but he's there under Boots, right? It was Boots' card. You know what I'm saying? And this is not the right way to build a guy up, because let's face it, Smalls, if he doesn't take this test again, and he doesn't take hard work, another hard match again, he's never going to learn, and he's going to get outclassed and look even more silly than what he did this past Saturday night. So I mean, it's always cool when they do it, right? When they outbox whatever, but when the Puerto Rican comes and he shows that he can box, he's not a big puncher. And that's what he did with the Hackett fight. And he doesn't even move that much, Roman. He was pretty much in his face the whole time. He just made him miss a lot more than what Smalls did with Roman. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he was in the pocket, but he was making a miss, throwing them big power shots and just not connecting at all. And, I thought he made him look silly at times as well. So that's my stance on it. And that's why I wanted to bring this up, because I think we got to push for the rematch. And not a lot of people are going to talk about it because those are not big names. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think he's dangerous for Smalls, and they know that. So I don't think that's going to happen. If they're going to try to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, big time. Salute to people that's coming through in the chat. Or Opulent LD, my man, Mr. Shelton, Joy Blogs. Thank you very much for coming through. With that being said, I think tomorrow night I'm going to be interviewing my boy Ricardo. And he's going to probably talk a little bit about the fight, but we're going to talk about, Fighters First, his management company, and the fighters he manages. So we'll stay tuned for tomorrow night. But on to you, Johnny Boy. You was there live. You had some theatrics out there, and some crazy well in Philadelphia. Tell us your experience of what happened. Covering the fight. Whatever you want to talk about, you can talk about.
But the fight was pretty quick. The Gerard Boots Ennis and Lima. I was with Lima after the fight. He's a real nice, good kid. He came up short, and he can bounce back. He'll fight. That's just levels and everything. And he was probably the whole atmosphere. He's from Portugal, whatever. So he wasn't expecting Boots to come out so quick. Yeah. But I think he could come back. He's just not on that level, and that's fine. You know what I mean? They can bounce. There's a lot of other people he can fight, and he can still make money. But the atmosphere was pretty good. There was a lot of celebrities in attendance, and it was a lot of it was electrifying for as long as it lasted. And then Boots, moving into the 154-pound division, that was a good statement. Even though it wasn't the best opponent, it still put everybody on notice, and everyone's talking about it like us today. And everybody, all the big names. And everybody at 154 knows, Keith Thurman, Fedora, Xander, Virgil, of course, because that's what he said. Boots spoke about, taking the Virgil Ortiz fight. Virgil, I heard that from his camp, they were saying we're ready to take this fight. So it looks like it's going to happen at the beginning of next year. So I'm really excited to see that fight.
Yeah, I mean, we like I said, we called the fight, and Thomas came up. Thomas put in the chat. He had it going. With I think the fourth round, and I said within 7 rounds, I said probably round 7, Boots was going to get him out of there. But once I seen Lima come out, and he pretty much got to the ring in about 5.2 seconds, I said, "Well, this fight going to end quick. This fight, he's going to get to the ring."
Listen, I mean, no disrespect to Lima. He got in there, he put the gloves on. He got in there and he gave it his all, right? I mean, it didn't look like he gave it all, but I mean, that's because it was one-sided. But I didn't think this was going to be anything of a match. I picked in 4, and when I was on the radio earlier that day, and I was telling Pedro, I said I wouldn't be surprised if it ended the first round. I don't think this guy is anything on Boots' level. I said the problem is that why is Boots, after 30 fights, taking a tune-up? Why is Boots taking a fight? I know he's moving up to a new division, but it's a new division, but you got 30 fights under your belt, 31 fights. You don't need to fight this guy. You should be fighting a name, and you have a big enough name to call out other names. You have a big time promoter that can get you a big name fight. And if you get a big name fight, get the next guy or the next guy. Lima was not close to top 10, top 15, top 20. I mean, it was a joke, and I did not see this fight being competitive at all. I didn't think, and I was right. Now, shame on me. I picked 4. I should have picked 1. I did not. And I'm in a fight pool, so they can tell you in the fight pool. I think out of everybody that fight pool, everybody picked Boots to win, but I picked the earliest. I picked round 4. Some people had a decision. Some people, D3 had 7. I think some people had 8. I think one person had 5. At the end of the day, everybody thought Boots was levels above this guy. And the problem is that it's great bringing fights back to Philadelphia. I think that's a beautiful thing. The Atlantic City area, like I hope they come back to AC because AC is starting to get popping again, right? Because back in the day it used to be popping, and now it's little by little it's starting to live up again. So I think that's beautiful. Have the homecoming, but they got to get a better opponent. And all the names he called out is all the names he could have tried to make a fight with before Libra in the first place. So I hope that he gets a Virgil. Now, Virgil has to fight Lubin. He can lose to Lubin. That's not a guarantee. You know what I'm saying? So what if he loses to Lubin? Does he fight Lubin? I'll take that fight. Does he fight Bakram? Does he fight Xander? Now, we already know Xander's looking for a tune-up too, which is bananas. And not necessarily he's just looking for an easy title defense. Let's put it that way. So what are your thoughts about the 154 division? Let's go to Xander. We both like Xander. That's he comes and fights here in New York all the time. What do you think about Xander, and how are your feelings of him taking a fight in Puerto Rico against maybe an opponent that's probably not deserving of it? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I just think like for example, the Lima and the Boots fight. We don't want to see it, but just let it happen, get it over with. And now there's no more excuses. Now that Boots is here, he's at 154. You have to go to a big fight, or the fans are going to criticize the hell out of you. Xander Zayas, he wants to win one time in Puerto Rico. Hurry up, get it over with. Let's see what happens. And then after that, you have to go into it. And he called out Virgil Ortiz. Yeah. And Virgil Ortiz was calling him out. They were he gave him a fake congratulations. So they were going back and forth. So you can't, Xander's ready to get in there with a big name. But just these are some things that, like, for example, Tank and Jake Paul. I don't want to see that. I'm going to be there in Miami, but just let it get over with. And then what's next? This is just part of the business, part of the, us being fans. We got to just deal with this. And then on the next one, then we can heavily criticize this person. They can feel the pressure. But, I understand they want to make money and they want to play things safe as far as, like Boots moving up to 154, Xander getting his little title shot, Jake Paul Tank, taking the 50 million or whatever he's going to make. And then after that's all said and done, you guys got to start fighting the best in the division. And I think that's what's going to happen. So we just got to get rid of this year, 2025, and then we'll start to see all the action-packed fights.
I got a question. Why is it that Xander doesn't have a mandatory? Because he just fought for a vacant belt. And usually when you fight for a vacant belt, you have a mandatory right away.
I don't know.
That's kind of crazy, but that maybe getting some favoritism with Top Rank. I don't know.
WBO is two things, right? It's out of Puerto Rico, right?
Yes.
It's out of Puerto Rico. And two, it really stands for what Bob orders. So whatever Bob Arum orders, that's what it is. And it's unfortunate. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. There was a rumor. I don't know how true it is. The rumor was that they were trying to fight Santillan, bring him up to 154. I don't know if it's true or not. That's something that I've heard. And then, then you got Jalil Hackett calling him out. They've been putting on a campaign trying to fight Xander, and all power to them. I don't think they're going to get it. And that'll be an interesting fight. They're both the same age. Xander, I think, has gotten a little bit more fights and developed a little bit more. But hey, if Jalil wants to smoke, if Xander wants to give him an opportunity, I don't have no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're going to give it to him.
I told him the same thing. I don't have a problem with it. The way I'm looking at it from the management position is why put our new champion in a fight that doesn't do anything for him? If Xander beats him, it doesn't help Xander's resume. It doesn't help his career or anything like that. And if Xander loses, it hurts his career. It hurts his resume. So it's like a lose-lose for Xander. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense. And everybody, you just hate on. No, I'm looking at it from the management and the promotional side. Yeah. It doesn't make sense for them to put him in it. Jalil is ranked, I think, like number 56.
Yeah, because he just got to the division. So and he got to the division. He got a win in the division, but technically he moved up after a loss. Right, he's at 147. He moved up after a loss. Now he got a win. I think the guy he beat was undefeated too. He was ranked pretty low too. But at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, he's still ranked the top 50. And he's 22. He just hasn't been moved the same way Xander been.
You don't have that many fights. I think Jalil got like between 9 and 11 fights. So he don't have that many fights.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I was like, I don't mind the fight. I think it'd be a good fight. I just think that it's a little too early for Jalil, because I don't think that Top Rank is looking to make that fight because it doesn't do anything for him. Now, if Jalil was a big name or he was ranked in the division, I could see them say, okay, let's go. You can't get nobody else. Let's go ahead and get Jalil. But like I said, Jalil's not a big name. He's not ranked high. He's not ranked in none of the sanctioning bodies, and he's not ranked high in the division. So it's like we want to put our fighter at risk of possibly losing a fight. We believe he can win, but what if it's that night that he comes in and he's not on his A game and he loses that fight?
Yep.
Now we just put him in there with somebody that wasn't going to do anything for his career if he got the win. Because let's be honest, we know how the fans is. If Xander Zayas go out there and beat Jalil Hatchett, they're gonna say, "Oh, well, Jalil didn't do anything. He ain't do anything in the career. He was still a prospect."
Yep.
It doesn't do anything for his career. I mean, everybody pushing for it, but as soon as we talk about, oh, Xander calling out this guy, everybody gonna be like, well, who's Xander fought? Well, he just fought Jalil. Man, who did Jalil beat? That's what they gonna say.
I mean,
I agree.
There's a lot of fighters out there at 154. There's a lot of top name guys, but a lot of them, there's a few of those top name guys that have, either bad managers, or I don't always say bad managers. They have managers that are just, very strategic, or promoters that are very strategic. I mean, Fundora has, that guy Sampson as a manager, and they're going to try to protect him as much as they can. And he's supposed to fight Thurman. That fight didn't happen. In my opinion, I don't think he's really hurt. I think they pulled out because they weren't selling tickets, and they were charging a lot of money for that pay-per-view. I think they were charging like $75 for him and Thurman, and they weren't really selling tickets. Nobody wants to see it. Thurman hasn't really been active. And, to them, Thurman is kind of like a cherry pick, and there could be a cherry pick gone wrong. So what they're looking to do now is move Fundora and Thurman to fight under Pacquiao, whoever Pacquiao fights, and Pacquiao will now be the main event. And that makes more sense because people will pay to see Pacquiao even if he was like 60. So I guess that makes sense, for the PBC, right? So then you have Bakram. Bakram's managed by they're promoted by low promotions. I forget the name. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't forget. I don't have the name of the promoter. It'll come to me. But they're not promoted by a major promotion. And then you have Xander with Top Rank, who they already said that they want to take like a voluntary defense in Puerto Rico. And then the other champion, Virgil's taking on Lubin. So you have other guys in the division that are pretty solid too. Majimov is still there. Who else? Alejandro Ramos Jr. I think they're trying to build him up. I think he has a fight. Brandon Adams just got a big win against Boachuk. I think he should get an opportunity somewhere. Why not? Why not him and Xander fight? He's good. And he beat Boachuk twice, and some people said Boachuk beat Virgil Ortiz. Right? A lot of people thought he beat Virgil Ortiz.
I think that's a good fight for Xander.
Yeah.
Brandon Adams is a good fight. He's a tough individual. He got decent power, and I mean he's not notable, but he's a quality opponent.
Yeah.
And so if Xander goes in there and he beats Brandon Adams, people can't really say much. They're like, Xander just beat Brandon Adams. Well, who does Brandon Adams? Well, he beat Boachuk, the same guy that dropped Virgil 3 times.
Yeah.
The same guy that just dropped Virgil 3 times. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's a quality opponent. And I think it's not that big of a test that Xander can't pass. But it's still a test nevertheless. It gives him a different style of fighting that he probably hasn't been in the ring with.
Yeah. It's a dangerous fight, but it's a fight where I think Xander could win, and Brandon could pull off the upset too. You have other guys. You have that guy Josh Kelly, right? Is it Josh Kelly or what's his name? Is it Josh Kelly? The guy
Josh
from
Kelly.
the UK.
Josh Kelly.
Yeah, Josh Kelly is there, and even Conwell. Give him a shot or somebody fight him. I mean, there's guys there at 154, fights to be made. I just want to see the best fight the best. And a lot of these guys with titles are just kind of like holding on to them. Bakram hasn't fought since last year. I mean, that's insane. Since the Tim Tszyu fight, it's been a year.
Who that? Oh, Botrom?
Botrom, yeah, he hasn't fought any since Tim Tszyu.
Well, I mean, that's because Lubin pulled out of that daggone fight. He had an opponent.
Yeah, but still, it took like a year. If he would have fought, it would have been a year. That's one fight in 1 year. That's crazy.
I mean, that was supposed to be Virgil's next fight, but then Golden Boy was like, we don't want to put him in another tough fight. He was just in there with 2 tough opponents. Even though I don't think Magnumov was that tough of an opponent. I think he beat Magnumov easily. A lot of people say, "Oh no, that was a tough fight." I thought he beat Magnumov easy.
Oh, I thought he beat him better than what Bud did. I thought
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, with that being said, let's close out 154. John, anything else that happened out there in Philly, as fights, or anything else interesting you want to talk about? I mean, you did a nice little interview with Freeway. That was a nice interview you did. You want to talk about that? And like, he's got a little charitable, charitable organization he's dealing with now.
Yeah, he works with the kids, and he's a really good person, man. He got a good heart, for his neighborhood, his community and stuff, and he's always trying to help the young kids get out of these problems, because Philly's a dangerous city, man. I learned that on Thursday. We got to Thomas knows what I'm talking about. We got there Thursday, and it's all over the news. We went to Skinny Joey's cheesesteak to check out the sandwiches over there, and I wanted to chop it up with Joey just in case he was there. So when we get there, as soon as we order our food, we sit down and hear a loud noise. So everybody starts running. So I'm like, why is everybody running? So then I hear pop, 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 pop. Now they're shooting. Now it's going crazy. It's like the Wild Wild West over there. It's like Brooklyn back in the 80s. So I'm looking at everybody's running. Everybody left. Me and another reporter, Sebastian, you know him, Thomas. Yeah. We just laughing because we like, oh, it's like New York out here. All right, cool. So we turn. I look around the corner, and Sebastian continues to eat his sandwich while people are screaming and running. Me and him are just standing there. We just laughing. And then I look and I say, oh man, somebody did get hit. So 2 people actually got hit. It's like 21 shots. So the kid's, on the floor, he's all twisted up like a pretzel. So I just ran over across the street and we started trying to help the kids. So I'm lifting up the kid's shirt and his eyes are rolling back and he's trying to gasp for breath. And I'm telling him, yo, call out to Jesus, call out to Jesus. Wow. I just keep telling him, yo, call out to Jesus. But I'm picking up his shirt and I see he has 3 gunshot wounds in the torso. He has 1 in the neck and his eyes are rolling back, but he's still breathing. So I'm like, fight, call out to Jesus, because just like the thief on the cross who sinned his entire life, he told Jesus, listen, when you enter your kingdom, remember me. And Jesus told him, this day you will be in paradise today. So that's the same thing I was thinking, man. This kid, these guys are probably gangbangers. They all shooting at each other. Another kid was shot. He ran up the other block. He's in critical. So that's all I could think about to tell him. And then so I'm with a Navy sailor. We trying to help. I'm like, yo, start doing CPR. I'm lifting up his shirt. I'm taking off my hoodie. We're trying to stop the blood coming out of his chest. He starts doing the CPR. I'm holding him down. And I'm telling him, yo, just call out to Jesus. He's like, yo, we don't got time for that. I was like, yo, that's all we got time for, because this kid probably has like 3 minutes. Wow. So we try to, we're hearing the sirens. They're coming the ambulance or the police or whatever, but it's coming. And he just passed away in my arms. He gave his last breath. I saw him give his last breath. And that's when the police came and they were like, yo, what happened? We was like, yo, I was trying to get the oxygen thing, because I didn't want to give him mouth to mouth because he got blood coming out of his mouth, coming out down his neck. So she's like, we don't have that. So she was like, pick him up and put him in the police car. So I grabbed him by his legs, his lifeless body. He's just standing there. Yeah. The sailor picked up the upper top. We put him in the police car, opened the door. He falls to the bottom where your feet are at in the seats. We got to pick him up again. I had to fold his legs because he was too tall. I had to fold his legs like an Indian stance, just to get his feet in the police car. Yeah. We closed the door. Boom, they left out of there. I'm like, man, this is crazy, man. But I mean, I've seen people get shot and killed, I'm used to it in Brooklyn, and I've been shot before too, so I know how it is. You know what I mean? You got to stay calm and try to, just try to manage, what you're surrounded. But one of the boys that was with us, he saw the shooters drive by. I didn't see them, but he said he seen them. They had guns out the car and they was flying down the street, and I just went right across the street, so I just missed them. They spin the block. These little young kids, they want to come back. So, that's why everybody's running. They thinking, yo, they're going to start shooting again. But I just said, they let off a lot of shots. they're probably not gonna risk it because they want to get the hell out of there, you know. So I took a chance, and you know, I mean, let's see what I mean. I hope one day if I make it to heaven, man, that dude is up there and he gives me a hug and God forgave him, and you know, just like that thief on the cross. So it was crazy. Philly's crazy, man. I need a little break from Philly.
In broad daylight too, right? That was in broad daylight.
Yeah, broad daylight. It was like 6 p.m. So I need a little break from Philly. The next Boots fight, like in March or February, maybe then we'll head back. But I don't want to go back there right now.
That's crazy. You went there, and that was Thursday. That was the press conference, right?
Yeah, Thursday. So then we still had to work. I had to go to see Danny Garcia. I went to him. I was letting him know happy. He's like, yeah, you can't be in this part of the city, this part of the city. But they said we was in the good part. But I guess, you know, they bumped into each other, these two crews, and then they just started blasting. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. They said, I saw on the news, like I looked it up. It said, you know, the guy ended up passing away, and then the other guy was in critical condition. And I think it was a woman that she didn't get hit or she got hurt or something too. That was
it was like I think it was two cars. They were shooting at each other, and then they happened to hit a civilian, a woman.
Yeah,
so her car was there, but she didn't get hit or anything, so she was all right. And then you know, they got everything is on camera, so these young kids they think it's the 80s, like where you could just shoot and get away with it. They're gonna come right back and follow you with all those cameras all over the city on houses. There's cameras everywhere, so you can't do that, you know.
Yeah, man, all the fights we covered here in New York, and all the, like, you know, the pushing and shoving and the arguing and stuff. Even Bernard Hopkins got disrespectful with you time. Like, and then you got to go to Philly and Bernard Hopkins' hometown and freaking
right.
You got to see that. That's crazy. But, you know, you be on the scenes, man. Johnny Boy be out there putting in work, man. And this is why I want to have you, man, on the show. You know, as much as we can, like, you know, because you're there covering it. You're there talking to the actual fighters. You know, so let me ask you, you did get to talk to Lima after the fight. He seemed like he was in good spirits, and then you know, he was trying to explain to you. What was he telling you?
He was telling me that he didn't realize how fast Boots was. You know, that's why I made a video on my on IG, and I was like, show me what he was doing. He was like, yo, I couldn't see the 2-punch combination. It was just coming so fast. He said I couldn't deal with the speed, and then the speed is the power, you know. So he's landing those shots. I was like, well, did you try to, like, you know, grab him and tangle him up, you know, get a breath? He's like, I tried. He was so quick. I couldn't land anything on him. So I was like, yo, man, you know, sometimes that happens. That's boxing. You know, you're outclassed, but you come back and you know you build your thing up again. He's still, you know, he's strong. He's a strong guy. You know what I mean? But it just there's levels to this. So he's just not on Boots level. He can still make a living and fight other people. You know?
Yeah, like he's been doing, I guess, overseas.
He told him that. He said it at the press conference. He said he's gonna realize, he's gonna say, okay, the punches are much faster. The punches are much harder.
Yeah,
he's gonna realize that when he get in the ring with him.
Yeah,
he told him.
Definitely.
He experienced it. But how was his attitude? Like, he looked, when you was talking to him, he looked like, you know, he looked okay.
Nah,
like
he was he was a perfect gentleman. You would never think somebody that's a fighter like that. You know, a lot of these fighters, you know, Thomas, we meet these guys and some of them have like a rough attitude, but a lot of them are nice, you know. And he just you would never think that he's even a fighter because he's such a nice, you know, polite person, you know. So he was a great guy. But he said the power really, you know, he was stunned by the power as well, not just the speed, but the ferocity that he was coming to take his head off. He couldn't get a breath. That's why I was telling him, yo, you try to tangle him up, you try to, you know, do something. He said,
you even try to tell him yourself. You was trying to show him yourself.
If you see on my page, I like, did you try to grab? I like grabbed him and I was like, did you try to do this? Did you try? He was like, yo, I couldn't get close to him. He was like a tidal wave. It just rolled right over him. He couldn't even do anything to stop it.
Was that at the hotel that you saw him, or?
Yeah, that was after at the Fighters Hotel. Everybody was over there, like all the fighters were there. So we were hoping to see some more people, but I just bumped into Lima. I said, yo, I took the elevator with him and his team, and I went upstairs, and they were like, yo, come on. He was in good spirits. He was glad that somebody was like still being a fan of his, even though he got blown out. Like, you know, you feel depressed. So me and Christian, you know, the photographer Christian, he was with me. And we were showing him love, and like, yo, this is boxing. This is what happens. You know, you can't take it. You know, this isn't the end of the world. You're gonna bounce back. A lot of fighters have lost and come back, and we're here to support you. You know, we try to show him love. So he was like, yo, man, I appreciate that. You know, sometimes a fighter needs that. You know, just to get back on the road, and he can be that contender or at least make money for his family. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Did you get to watch the co-main event, the heavyweights?
No, I mean I was seeing little glimpses, but I'm running around trying to get interviews, looking okay, who's sitting there.
Okay.
I'm trying to you know how we do. I'm trying to run around and trying to lock down interviews for after the fight ends. There's an intermission, then you got a little time, a little break. Everybody goes to the bathroom. Boom, I can get an interview in. So it's kind of difficult. I never get to really enjoy and watch the entire fight. I got to go back and watch. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I just don't. I know when you guys, because we be at fights together, and you be like, "Yo, I'm gonna go do that." I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay.
Yeah.
This fight."
You're enjoying it
because I missed the fight. You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
Yeah.
You actually enjoy it. I don't really get to enjoy it. I'm always working and looking. Okay, what's my next? I'm playing chess. Like I'm trying to look. All right, who's over there? You know, like Richardson Hitchin was there. So as soon as the fight ended, I went and got his reaction. So I got 30,000 views just off of Richardson Hitchens.
Nice.
So that paid off for me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You gotta do that.
What did Hitchens have to say? First of all, shout out to AJ Moore, Daniel Berry, Sports Highlight, and my man Acavelli, the Jab Jamboree. Salute to you. Thanks for coming through. But
salute, fellas.
What did Hitchens have to say?
Hitchens was like, "Yo, that was a great performance." I said, well, "Who do you think he goes? You know, should he go in with next?" He said, he should go in with Virgil Ortiz. You know, get that fight. I was like, "Who wins that?" He thinks that Boots wins that fight. I also think that Boots wins that fight. I think I like fighters that hit and don't get hit, like we spoke about. I like, you know, slick fighters. You know what I mean? Don't take that damage. But Boots has that power as well, you know. So he's carrying that power, even though it was Lima, but he still moved up. You still got to give him the credit, and he did it in the first round. He didn't do it like in the fourth. Like I thought it would be the fourth or fifth round. So you have to give him that credit. But he has the power, he has the slickness, he has the footwork. He just has to tighten up his defense. And I think Boots is a beast. And I think he's going to beat everybody at 154.
You know, we had this discussion, D Free, and we said kind of the same thing. I think everybody in the panel said similar, everything you just said, even about the defense. I said I think he has to work on his defense too. D Free, right? I don't know, you know, you could co-sign, but that's exactly, I think we said the same thing. We kind of believe that Boots beats everybody, but we just want to see it. You see, what we believe and see it is two different things. If they can't make the fights, we're never gonna know. So, but D Free, right? Is that something? That's what we were speaking about, right?
Yeah, that's the same thing we said. That, but the thing is, like at 54, because everybody is a good fighter, and anybody that comes in on any given night that's not on their A game, they can lose that fight. So that's the one division from the number 10 to the number 1. Any one of those guys can win a fight on any given night. You don't see that in a lot of the divisions right now. You see probably it's like top heavy. The first 5 guys are the best guys, and then everybody else you like, okay, it's a quality opponent, but I don't think he's going to beat this one. But when you look at 54, most of those fights are either a 50-50 fight or a 60-40 fight. It ain't no blowout fights in the top 10. It ain't no blowout fight. You might say, okay, I favor this guy, but hey, this guy he definitely could win this fight. If they don't come in on their A game, they can lose. So yeah, I think Boots can beat everybody in the division because of his style of fighting. He can switch hit. He has the quickness. He has the power. And even what he said after the fight at the press conference, they asked him how did he feel after the weigh-in. He said, "This is the best I've ever felt." He said, "Normally when I go to the weigh-in, I'd be so angry because I had to cut so much weight. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to do nothing." He said, "When I got to this weigh-in, he said, man, I had a burst of energy. I was ready to fight that night." So when you got a guy like that's already a class boxer, and he got great power and good footwork, and now he feels even more comfortable, that's a scary thing for everybody in that division.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with you. I think anybody is a pick'em, you know, division. Anybody can, like you said, come in an off night. Anybody can upset anyone. But if I had to pick a horse in the race, I'm gonna pick Boots based on the athletic ability, all the skills, and like I said, with the defense, if he tightens that up, it's gonna be hard to beat him. You know.
I agree. I think you know, the guy I'm gonna root for the most is gonna be Xander because that's my guy. But if I had to pick somebody, it's going to be between 2 guys because I don't want to dismiss Virgil. I think Virgil is a legit contender. I think he's a legit fighter, and
he's a nightmare.
And let's face it, like you just said, he's a beast. Virgil and Boots is the fight to make And, neither of them are champion at 154 either, right? So, I mean, I think Virgil's an interim champion. He's not really the champion. So, listen, those are the top two guys in my opinion. Like I said, I'm rooting for Xander over everybody. But me rooting for them is not going to help them win. If I have to pick a fighter, I'm picking Boots and then Virgil after that to clean the division up. So
definitely, those are the top. But with Sebastian Fundora with that reach, he might be the one that's the last man standing. I don't even say Xander Zayas. He does everything well. He doesn't have like super speed or superpower, but the fundamentals, he has everything back. And I was debating with someone, and I was saying I have Boots, and they say I got Xander because he does everything. He's an all around fighter. He's not just a one trick pony. Or not that he was calling Boots a one-trick pony, but he said that he does everything well, and that's why he beats Boots. And I started thinking about it. I said, wow, I never looked at it like from that perspective. I'm not saying that Xander can't win. Xander might beat everyone. Who knows what's going to happen? But I think that's the most exciting division in boxing. I look forward to all of the fighters facing each other, and I don't think anybody's going to be ducking anyone. They'll have to face each other eventually.
Oh, I would hope so.
I'm right there with you, Thomas. If I had to pick somebody, it's definitely going to be Boots. I don't see how I can consciously go against a guy that has all of the tangibles to become a great fighter. But what I will say, out of everybody at 54, Xander Zayas is probably the only one that can match Jerron Boots Ennis' energy. Xander Zayas coming in like a bat out of hell. And you like, God, I forgot this dude is only 22 years old. That man got a lot of energy. He still be moving around in round 12. You like, man, are you going to slow down at some point? So, I mean, Xander Zayas is probably the only one that can match Jerron Boots' energy. It's just he's not seasoned enough like Jerron Boots Ennis. I think the experience that Jerron Boots Ennis has supersedes what Xander Zayas can do right now. And that could very well change. Who knows? Xander Zayas could have a couple of fights while Boots is fighting Virgil or Sebastian or Bartron or something like that. Xander Zayas could have a couple of fights and get better and say, okay, you know what? I just learned something in this fight. I just learned something in that fight. And then when you get in there with somebody like a Jerron Boots Ennis or a Virgil Ortiz, you're like, hey, I didn't see that coming.
No, I agree with that. The only problem with Xander is two things. One, I don't think he has the punching power that we would like him to have as, fellow Puerto Ricans. All three of us are Puerto Rican up here. And, we root for our Puerto Rican fighters all the time, and a lot of Puerto Ricans, they have that left hook, and that big punch power. Xander, to me, doesn't really have that pop yet. And then the second concern is I don't know how much longer he could stay at 154. He's been at 154 a long time. He's 22. He's he's still a kid. You know what I'm saying? So, and people were saying that his last camp, that he struggled to make the weight, that he didn't look too good. I thought he looked fine. But, that's what, some people or the quote unquote experts may say. So let's see how much longer he can stay at 154 before he has to, move up to 160. So that would be my only two concerns with Xander.
That's the same thing they were saying about Boots at that weight. And they were like, oh, Boots look drained. I'm like, what are y'all looking at?
That's no way. no way, bro. There was no way he looked drained at that. Maybe at 147, but not. No.
I'm like, man, do y'all see how the one Boots in this is? I'm like, that man is cut up like a bag of dope. I don't see. I'm like, you can't sit in his face because he got a beard, so you can't see if his face is sunken in or not. The only way you would be able to tell is looking at his body, and his body did not look like it was drained at all. No. I mean, that was actually the biggest I ever seen Jerron Boots Ennis at a weight, and I'm sitting there looking at him like, man, this man Jerron Boots Ennis look like he could be fighting at 160 right now.
Definitely. Yeah. Easily.
Yeah. I got one more question for you because I know you brought up Hitchens. Did Hitchens say anything about his next fight or who he's going to fight? I mean,
he wants Teofimo. He knows that Teofimo probably going into that fight with Shakur. So he wants. He really got. They got animosity towards each other. Him and Teo. He has a relationship with Shakur, so I don't think he's looking to fight that. Shakur's only going up to 140. He said he wants to take the title and then after that give it up so Keyshawn could fight for that belt. That's what he wants to do. But he definitely wants the Teofimo. He wanted Devin Haney. Devin Haney has his business with Brian Norman Jr. That's going to be an interesting fight. So that's what he's looking for. But he's always vocal about, yo, give me this guy, give me this guy. It's really Devin Haney and Teofimo. And those guys showed up at his fight at Madison Square Garden when we were there too. So they came to put it on. But then Shakur was out there in Vegas with us with the Canelo Crawford, and him and Tio were running around. They were doing a little tour of, getting interviewed together by Max Kellerman. And so that looks like that's really going to happen. So, obviously Shakur would be the favorite going into that fight. So Devin Haney, he needs to get somebody, he has to try to unify those titles, but he wants a big name. He doesn't want to go with Gary Russell, dangerous fighters, and you're not going to make that type of money,
That's the thing with Dev that I always give Dev credit, and that's why I like Dev, except this fight, is because he wants to fight the best, and he'll pick big names. And listen, he still got the fight with Norman Jr. It's funny that the odds still have Norman Jr. favored. I think Dev should be the favorite. I know he's moving up in weight technically, but Devin Haney's filling out the weight. I mean, he's going to look good at this weight. I think he's going to fill it out better than the other way. I don't think Devin Haney is as strong as people may say, like as far as punching power. I think he's a strong fighter. People that sparred him, that I know sparred him, they say the same thing. He's very strong. Like when you get in the clinch, or like when he holds you, or like, inside, he's strong, but the punching power is still not there. They say there's nothing to really worry about. Now, that doesn't mean he can't punch, because anybody can get knocked out and get dropped and get hurt. I just I don't see him, stopping Brian Norman Jr. I think if he wins, he wins unanimous decision. I favor Devin Haney. I'm probably going to pick Devin Haney. I'm rooting for Brian Norman Jr. because I didn't like what happened with the bodyguards and stuff like that. I think that was.
I was there. I was there when all that happened.
That was messed up. And I don't like him wanting to fight Ryan Garcia if he was to win. I think that's a waste of a fight. I don't want to see it. Nobody should want to see it. I don't trust Ryan Garcia. I don't like it at all. So that's my thing when it comes to Devin Haney. But as far as inside the ring, I think he's the best. He might be the best at 147 in a weak division. I've been saying it for almost 2 years. 147 is the weakest it's been in a very long time. I don't think highly of Mario Barrios. Credit to him. I don't think highly of Rolly Romero. You know what I'm saying? And then who's the other fighter? Some guy named like Crooker or something, or Crocker. I mean, Betty Crocker or something from the UK. I don't think highly of him. The 147 is down. They got some prospects, future contenders like Rohan is there. They got some guys coming up, but still, fights got to be made. So it's a very intriguing fight. I favor Devin to win the fight. I don't know if any of you favor Brian Norman or see Brian Norman Jr. winning the fight. I mean, I do think he can stop him. I think Devin makes mistakes in the second half of the fight defensively. He's gotten caught a few times in the second half of fights, and he's got hurt. Loma hurt him. Jojo Diaz landed some good shots in the second half. We saw what Linares did in the second half in that one round. I mean, he makes mistakes, so you never know if Brian Norman Jr. could capitalize on that.
Yeah, I think go ahead, G.
Go ahead, D.
No, I want to say I think Brian. See, this is a 50-50 fight for me because I think Brian Norman has underrated footwork. I think his boxing ability hasn't been on display because of the opponents that he's faced. But the one thing that I've seen Brian Norman in, and he was able to pull it out. I see him in adversity. I mean, of course, the Ryan Garcia, but Devin didn't win that fight. And then Devin looking at that fight was, I got cheated. So it's like that fight never happened. So he's not looking at it as any adversity. Mm-hmm. But I think Brian Norman, he's been the underdog. I don't think Devin Haney has ever been the underdog. I don't think he's ever been the underdog, so I think it's a little different when it comes to Brian Norman. So being though Brian Norman has been the underdog, I think
I'm telling you to move the car up. I can't get in. There's no room.
So I think that is the difference between the two.
But I think if you look at both performances, with Brian Norman Jr., Jin Sasaki, the devastating knockout that he had, and then Devin Haney's performance against Ramirez, where they said he ran. So that's the reason why they're picking Brian Norman Jr. as the favorite, you know, because of the both last performances of both of them.
Yeah, and I think they're going to change. I have a feeling, you know, because the lines are going to be stay like this for a while. But the closer we get to the fight, the line is going to move one way a lot. I think, and I truly believe the money is going to move to Devin Haney. I truly believe that because he has the more experience. He's been challenged more. He's got the, you know, better resume. You know what I'm saying? He's the better boxer. Let's put it that way. He is the better boxer, right?
Yes.
D-Free, I think you're right. I think Brian Norman has underrated footwork, but he has never really had to use it. So, like, now he's going to use it against a guy that has really, really good footwork. You know, that could be a bad test for him for, you know, first time, you know, showing his footwork, in my opinion. So, I mean, we never know. Anything can happen in a fight.
And see, the one thing that I look at too, I look at the Jose Ramirez fight. Jose Ramirez don't have good footwork, but Jose Ramirez was able to corner Devin Haney. The problem was Jose Ramirez didn't throw no punches. Mm-hmm. He would just stand in front of him and let Devin Haney grab him. Yeah. And so with Brian Norman, who also has the longer reach, I think Brian Norman, he doesn't mind taking punches as long as he can land his shot. So yeah. I think that's going to be the difference as well.
Yeah, and I think I was just saying that I think BFTB was live. He was live early, and I said I think Brian Norman's best chance is he's going to have to sell out, and like you just said, so I think he's going to have to sell out and you know, take punches and give his, you know, and catch him in exchanges, you know. Mm-hmm. But anything can happen. I think his best chance is going to be in the second half because I think Dev gets a little overconfident at times and he makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. I mean, he can fight a perfect fight. I'm not saying he can't, but he's shown that in recent fights. I mean, the Loma fight, I don't care what anybody says. He was hurt. I think it was like the 9th round. Loma hurt him. I mean, Loma was from stopping him. He was hurt. And credit to Devin is. I don't think Devin is going to get knocked out by one punch either. So if Ryan Norman lands something, I think Devin showed against Ryan that he's no chump. He's going to get up, you know. So, you know, and to me that shows that you got a good chin, right? I mean,
chin and heart. You got a lot of heart.
And heart. So it's going to take more than one punch. So
definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this was a dope live. I mean, I appreciate you guys coming up. This was dope, my man Johnny Boy. I appreciate you coming up. We'll do this again. I mean, I don't know, next week or the week after. You're going to be there Saturday?
Yeah, I'll be there Saturday. Danny Garcia, Brooklyn. I look forward to that. And Keith Cologne's fighting, you know, so we're gonna be supporting him.
Yes.
You know, he's fighting an undefeated fighter, so you know that's gonna be good.
Yeah, undefeated fighter, 6-rounder.
Thomas, I gotta ask you: are you gonna buy the Lamont Roach and Pitbull pay-per-view?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because they're gonna want what they want, $75 also.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not even a main event, bro. I like
the fight. It's a lot of good fights on it. Yeah, it's a lot of good fights, but ain't none of them worthy of a pay-per-view.
Nah,
I mean, they're going crazy.
O'Shaquie and Stephen Fulton should be the main event of that card.
Yeah, they should. They
that's the better fight of the two.
Yeah,
you know? and I'm gonna tell you something right now.
That might be the only title fight on that card.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Pitbull Cruz beats Lamont Roach.
No.
I was thinking the same thing.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I got Lamont.
I got Lamont too, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pitbull Cruz, you know, lands something. You know, I mean, I know Lamont is good. He smothers his work a little bit. He may smother Pitbull a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he catches him. You know,
yeah, because Lamont has never been in there with a brawler like that.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I mean, it should be a good fight, but I think the boxing ability of Lamont Roach and the IQ, the defense is what's going to carry him to victory, and then he'll know how to get around Pitbull's aggressive style.
I agree.
The only reason why I'm mainly rooting for Lamont Roach because Pitbull Cruz wins this fight, we get a rematch of Tank Davis and Pitbull Cruz. We don't get the Lamont Roach rematch.
Yeah.
But who knows what Tank's gonna do? He got like 1 foot in boxing and 1 foot in retirement. So
I think
let's
he's gonna
see.
definitely take at the very least, he takes a break.
Yeah, after that. But then the game calls you back. You know, fighters, they can't stay away from the game. So
But if
he'll be
you're
back.
out too long, it's not good because when the game calls you back, you're not at your best, and then you get embarrassed.
Exactly. And then if you're gonna go up against a fighter like Shakur Stevenson, you better be active and you better be ready. Right now, after the Jake Paul fight, he should go directly into that fight. Not even with Lamar Roach. Go into that super fight, cash that check, because Turkey's willing to pay, they said. So they'll make probably what's the biggest fight in boxing besides Tank and Shakur? What's another one that's big like that?
I think that would be the biggest one because I know people wanted to see Tank and Dev, but Dev has already moved on.
He lost. They want to see the undefeated. Somebody's old got to go. That's what everybody wants to know. The boxer and the puncher. But meanwhile, Tank is really actually a boxer. He has fast hands. I think he's faster than Shakur. If you watch his early part of his career, he throws multiple combinations. He's a fast fighter, but he has the best timing and he waits and he loses those early rounds, downloading that information. And then he times it and lands that power shot. But he has fast hands. I'm telling you, I think he's faster than Shakur. If you watch them side to side, you'll see that I think that Tank is a faster fighter. I still think Shakur wins because of the defense. My favorite fighter, Pernell Whitaker, defense over everything. So I think that Shakur beats him, but anything can happen when you have a fighter that's doing rapid punch combinations and, the punching power that Tank has and the timing. I think he has the best timing in boxing.
Okay. Interesting. I never, that's a different perspective. And you're a Shakur guy. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
All right. Any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
But the next big fight is Tank and Paul, right? That will be covering.
Yeah, that card will be covering. There's some good female fights on that card.
Oh, Pacquiao's in December, isn't it?
Pacquiao supposedly, I think they might move that to January.
Oh, okay, it's moving to January now.
Sure. I thought I heard January. So
okay,
and then I don't know if it's going to be Rolly. I've heard it might be somebody else now.
Oh, okay.
So I don't. Who knows what's going on with that?
We'll see what happens, right?
Boxing. This is boxing. So I think the next big fight for me is November 22nd, the Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. That's the most intriguing fight of the year. And Devin Haney could make history again. So let's see what happens.
The Benavidez Yard, I'm not really too interested in that, but I want to see, Benavidez, but I think he's going to destroy Yard.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna be entertained either way in that fight.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. I mean, listen, I'm rooting for Brian Norman badly, but I'm realistic. I think Devin Haney's gonna win, and I'm only rooting for Brian Norman because I think that was some punk they did with the bodyguard. I'm not letting that go. I think that was whack, and I think it was corny with him talking to Ryan, trying to say that they're gonna fight. I think that was corny too. It's just a bad look. I don't want to see that. Especially when you support a guy like that. Like when you support a guy, you go to his fight. I mean, we were at the fight last April when he fought Ryan Garcia, right? I paid for my ticket. I'm not going to talk about it.
I did too.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about what I paid for the ticket. So I can say whatever the hell I want about Devin Haney if I want to because I supported the guy. I rooted for the guy. I still root for the guy, but not in this fight. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, with that being said, I appreciate you guys. This was a good live. We'll be back hopefully tomorrow. I'll have a special guest up here tomorrow and talk more boxing.
That's it. Be free, man.
Yeah.
One love, man. Thomas, salute, guys.
Salute. I'll see you guys on. I'll catch you guys. I'll definitely see you guys. I'll see you on Saturday, Johnny Boy.
You already know, man.
All right.
Stay safe, fellas.
Peace to everybody that came through and watching the replay. Appreciate you guys coming through. Hit the like, share the video, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. We want to push Jose Roman versus Tahmir Smalls. We want the rematch. Let's push for that. Let's get it right. That was a messed up decision. Let them fight again and let's prove who's the better man. That's the way boxing should be. So that's all I got to say about that. So let's push for that. Peace out to everybody, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.